Well, welcome everybody to week 6 of 8, July 6, 2022 in Metaphysics in the Bible. Today's topic is My Sweet Lord. And the question for today, which we went around the room and got some awesome responses on, do you need a master? The consensus is the master is within. And then overall, there's other thoughts too that were awesome, but for the most part, that was the general consensus. A few comments for the spirit groups that we're a part of for Metaphysics in the Bible, brought to you by spirit groups. There's a celebration. They do it on Zoom. You just show up with your own drinks or whatever, and they share some thoughts. What'd you get out of your spirit group meetings? As far as care goes, music selection. Everybody brings in a music selection, so we share music. So it's some really, really cool experiences. And it's from people from all different points of view. It's just spirituality. It's not religion. It's just, and so it's awesome. You get to meet some pretty cool people. So it's the hosts and the participants, whoever want to come. Just that's going to be Wednesday, July the 26th, 7 to 9 p.m. So if anybody wants to say what if they've got anything out of this, if you want to become a host for spirit group, we're going to move along. So what's happening in the sky for today, right at this meeting time? It's happening along the river of heaven. Is the sun, which represents you, and Lilith, temptation, is riding Sirius and Canopus. So for you, Chelsea, I'm not sure if that was that, and the experiences that you were feeling today, and it's probably part of it. I know I felt some experiences from this today. So Sirius and Canopus, well, Sirius is part of the cosmic breath, the River Nile, which floods on the heliacal rising, and Eris goes retrograde. That's the part that people don't get. So when heliacal rising means when a star is now visible, was being shadowed being overlit by the sun. When it rises now before the sun, so you can see it again, that's what they call heliacal rising. And why Sirius was so special is because it's not only is it the brightest star in the sky, the River Nile would flood at that time. But what's being missed is Isis, Eris, whatever you want to call her, goes retrograde at that time, at the exact same time. So it's important. So that right today is a very important, it's a decision-making day. Lilith is temptation, like we said. Canopus is the ore of Argo. In other words, it's the bottom southern portion of the Milky Way, the ship. Argo was removed from the 48 constellations of the Ptolemies. Now, the Ptolemies are very instrumental in the building of the pyramids and all the messages that were left there. So they were Christ-conscious people that built that and left that priestly language, the priestly language meaning the Christ-conscious people. So it's very important that we know that as the sun is transiting, because Canopus is the southernmost bright star, it is the southern pole star. So you got the North Pole, the South Pole. So Lilith tempts the sun on riding the Milky Way. In other words, do you want to be in the spiritual way, the spiritual waters? Do you want to navigate the seas of the stars? I met once a captain of a ship, and he was just so articulate. And basically, he said, all you need is a compass and the stars. You don't need anything else. You need nothing else. And then I saw a brother today. I'll add in the edit of this video when I do the replay. There's proof that all you need is to get some piece of lodestone. That's a rock that has magnetic particles in it. And they would just bust that on a diamond to get some to fall off, stick that in water, and the magnetic particles would point to the north/south. So on the Egyptian writings, in their books, they show, I know we've talked about this before, but they show the earth, the air and the earth and the sky, Geb, Nut, and Shu. So this is showing you that you're riding the Milky Way, the stars, from the southernmost point of Canopus to the North Pole star and to the other side. This would represent the firmament. So it's important that we know that today is that who's steering your ship? So it's related to who is your master. So today people are going to get tempted to go towards materialism versus just staying the course, because it's just, there's no such thing as time, and you are the chosen one, and just know it and ride it. And every experience is going to manifest for you so that you can get there, because you know you can get there. So it's really important, this sign today. This looks like a little bit of an eye test, but I just want to step through it for those who are interested, that read this, that want to understand what's happening in the sky. So on the Dendra Zodiac, which is the Bible, which is the sky, it is the sky map. And this, all the translations of the Bibles came from this and the other Egyptian writings on the wall. Canopus and Sirius, I'm putting it to its natal position. When you see these black stars out there, that's where it's currently at with precession. So Sirius is over here in this black star right here. So Canopus, the South Star, Sirius, and this is on the domain of Horus, which is the winter solstice. When Jesus was born, when Horus was born on the clock. So it's too important. So right now the sun is here on the 369. So getting those experiences like Chelsea got and other people are getting, in these feelings, are really vibrating right now, because the secret to the universe is a 369. The pyramids were built on this 369, on this 18 degrees. They've mapped the heavens and they've shown the map on the ground. So when we follow it all, we get enlightened. And it's important on July 16th. We've got a wedding that day, go figure. My niece is getting married. She always wanted to do it on the 17th, which is my mother's birthday, her grandmother. But she couldn't because of the 7 scorpions of Isis, the 7 plagues. In other words, the corona chakra cleanse that we've been facing. I don't call it what media calls it, because Mary's back. We're all getting back together because of Mary, not because of that C word. Anyway, on July 16th, the sun aligns exactly on the domain of Horus. So while this is riding from here, which is basically the old position of Sirius, which it's near, just recently passed, towards the domain of Horus, it's important for us to realize that this vibration is a special one, because we're riding that wave, like Carlos said. That's the Milky Way wave. That's the special wave. That's the one we want to be, let him be our master, because that is the Ma, the love that's within us. And so that's lines up, the 369 lines up with the box. In other words, us in 3 dimensions, and then the other dimension being spiritual vibration. So now we'll get on to the topic of my sweet Lord. When you think of the word Lord, I want you to think about the word master doesn't mean what it really means. Well, Lord doesn't mean what we think it means or what consensus has said either. So looking at the etymology of the word Lord, I started looking into the older languages and getting definitions from there. Well, Lord, when you start doing that and looking up Sanskrit, you see Isha Upanishad, enveloped by the Lord. So there's 2 things here, enveloped and Lord. Upanishad means the envelope, the divine within. So process of elimination, Isha must mean Lord. Now, when you look up the word Isha, one who protects, this name comes from a Sanskrit word that means the ruling goddess or the ruler. Well, now meet your master. It's the ruling goddess. It's the divine feminine within. It's one love. So I just went and got some more examples. Here's from that was from the bump. The first one was from Wikipedia. This is from Woman of the Book. Woman in Hebrew. So Isha means woman in Hebrew. Don't forget, Isha means Lord. The ruling goddess in Sanskrit. So you got woman in Hebrew, and the ruling goddess in Sanskrit is what Lord means. Emerges triumphant as she endures the tests that prove her strength and infinite endurance. In other words, she keeps coming back, which we know is the Phoenix rising. Because we're in a system of love and a system of manifest, so it always comes back. So I broke apart the word Isha. because this is the way the Egyptians left the Christ consciousness type of imagery. So this is what we're studying. The eye, which is a line without a wave, right? You can see basically from the caduceus, you got an eye and you got two snakes and wings. So the eye, which is part of Isis, now you can see ISIS, so you got both snakes and Isis. The H is the throne. We know that's the throne. That's Virgo on the throne having a discussion with Horus, you, the child within, as you come past the weighing of the heart in Libra. The H is the throne. The H is the 8th letter. It means infinite. And the opposite mirror image of the H is the 4. And 4 means time, which we know there's no such thing as time. It's just a matter of expanse, magnetism, experience. And the A, from other metaphysics in the Bible classes, we've talked about the A, which is the alpha, which is made up of a circle and a straight, a circle and a 1, we call it. It's the first thing. From the repeating 60 numbers, or from the golden ratio series numbers, it goes 0, 1, 1, right? Well, this is the Ba, they call it a Ba in Egypt, the stork, bringing the soul into the body. So that's the alpha. That's the Shen. It's the 0 and the 1. It's the uniting. You're tethered. You're tethered to pure love. So the alpha is you. So Isha would have to be broken apart like this, but everywhere you look at it, every way you look at it, it's to do with the divine feminine within. So when you see the word Lord, God is you and Lord is the mother. It's the infinite. So Lord is Isha, is the master within, the divine feminine. So meet your Lord. This is the divine feminine in every culture that's going to bring us all back together. We have one thing in common, every one of us. Other than we all like to eat food and we all like to drink and we all like to have shelter, outside of that and understanding who we are, this is the common ground. This is the Lord, the divine feminine within. Let's talk about it in the Bible. In the book of Isaiah 66, thanks to Brian, who sent this to me. Rejoice with Jerusalem. We're going to talk about Jerusalem. And be glad for her. You see, they're saying her. All you who love her. So rejoice with Jerusalem and be glad for her, all you who love her. Rejoice greatly with her, all you who mourn over her. She's back. The revelation of her within, the master within, the Lord within, the Christ consciousness. For you will nurse and be satisfied at her comforting breasts. You will drink deeply and delight in her overflowing abundance. Pure love, baptismal waters, cleansing us. So this is all in the Bible. It's beautiful in there. Just got to know how to read it. Like a river and the wealth of nations, like a flooding stream, you will nurse and be carried on her arm and dandled on her knees. We're tethered to pure love. And the experiences that we get to experience is what they're talking about. But it's within. You got to find it within. You can't find it without. We can have fun while we're here, absolutely. But our spiritual work is just invigorating. As a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you, and you will be comforted over Jerusalem. But what does Jerusalem mean? Is it a place? We know that the Bible is an astrology book, right? So there's got to be more meaning. Well, when you look up Jerusalem, it really means the zodiac. It means the firmament. It means the sky. It means the starry sea, the path to the absolute, the guide of the angels, the angles. So a comparison of Egyptian versus Christian is a beautiful book, Ancient Egypt, The Light of the World, Volume 2. He compares side by side, Egyptian and Christian. I just picked this one out. The Ba enclosure of Aru, because that's what Aru is, another word for Jerusalem, in 12 measures. In the Christian, the walled enclosure of the New Jerusalem in 12 measures. So Jerusalem means Aru. Aru in ancient Egyptian is reeds, rushes, known as the field of reeds. Well, we know what reeds are used for music. My accordion's got a whole bunch of reeds in it, lots of them. The circle of fifths, the circle of music, it's all there. The zodiac is Jerusalem when we're talking about your Jerusalem, your world, the world that you create, the vibrations that you create. The master within allows you to create your world. But now we got to do it with love. We've been doing it for the last 2,000 years, not with love, not with pure love anyway. So the more and more we do that, then you get to create your world. So in the Bible, book of Matthew 19, the rich in the kingdom of God, Jesus said to them, truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me, in other words, taken my advice, that's what they mean by followed me, not like literally following a leader, will also sit on the 12 thrones. What he means there's controlling your 12 zodiac sign, controlling your firmament, controlling your field around you, because you have that built-in zodiac in your field, as above, so below, as without, so within. Judging the 12 tribes of Israel, the king's dome, that's the kingdom, your dome, your firmament, the stars within the firmament. You are the king, and you get to steer the stars, ride the stars. Israel is Isis, Ra, right, or Horus, and El is Balaram, which is Saturn, Father Time. That's the breakdown of Israel, thanks to, I'm not sure where Santos got it. I learned it from Santos, Bonacci. He's awesome. So the mother that sits on the throne until you get it. And that's what's depicted here. Horus, with representing of the all-seeing eye, looking over your shoulder, helped and guided you. And you're sitting on the throne. And you get to see what it's like to steer the stars, the zodiac sign, Jerusalem. That's what is meant by the word Jerusalem. So you're in the driver's seat. And right now is a very important moment as the sun transits to 369 and going over to the domain of Horus, the all-seeing eye, because Horus is right there. Do you see him? The domain of Horus. And there is a big pointer right here to this mark, which is the cross, which is the 0 of the 60 repeating golden ratio numbers. So in the book of Genesis, world's creation in 7 days, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. The firmament divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. The Bible calls the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So as you can see, I just want to recap. The book of Genesis talks about that firmament. That's what was in the beginning. This is what we need to study. Where do we come from? How do we get back? Steering the stars, sailing the stars. Let the master within teach us. So when you go and read the Bible, you can switch the word Lord out to the divine feminine. You can switch the word Jerusalem out to your own personal world, your own personal zodiac. So that was the message for today. And thank you all for being here.